Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about another topic which is going to be very important for the upcoming examination. The topic for discussion for essay paper is digital explosion in India is one step forward yet two steps backward. You must have been reading about digitalization or digital explosion in India and around the world, how fake news has actually affected the way elections are held or the way everything is talked about in the global forums. So, digital explosion is a big issue along with artificial intelligence, which is a part of fourth industrial revolution. And it's important that we talk about it and regulate it so that it does not become a bane, it remains a boon for society as a whole. Therefore, this important topic has been picked up keeping this in mind because financially also the financial institutions, whether it's RBI, SEBI or any other institution, is also a part of the impacts or the elements which are going to be affected by digital explosion and digitization in the country. So that's why this topic becomes very important. What we are going to do is we are going to have a look at three things. Number one, the introduction, then the body, and then the conclusion. Now, the first step is whenever you start writing an essay, the first step is to identify the keywords. There is only one keyword here, digital explosion in India. Is one step forward and two steps backward. It means that we have to talk about the advantages or the pros or the opportunities that have been brought about by digital explosion or digitization in the country. What are the challenges or the threats which digitization poses for Indian society, for Indian economy? So those are the things that we have to talk about. In the introduction, we always introduce the topic with the most important keyword, which here is digital explosion. So we are going to talk about the definition. We are going to define digital explosion, number one. That is how we move forward in the introduction. And we are also going to talk about why is it in news recently. That is the importance of this topic in the present scenario. So writing these two things completes our introduction, also makes it very clear and easy to understand. The second thing that we are going to cover is body with the advantages or the opportunities as well as the challenges. Why is it a step forward? What are the ways, what are the manners in which one step forward and in positive direction? Number one, financial inclusion. What digital explosion or digitization has done is it has impacted the degree of financial inclusion in the country year on year. So if it was 40% last year, it has certainly increased to 50 to 60% this year, and the reason is digitalization or digital explosion. Financial inclusion has increased the capacity of the people to invest, to loan, to save, and to use the capital and financial markets, and also to enroll into social security schemes or investment schemes like mutual funds. So all these are parts of financial inclusion through the banking sector, banking system in our country. The next step forward that digital explosion has brought to India is a war on black money. Digital transactions always have a trace, always have an origin, and it's easier to find out where the money originated from, what was the purpose of the money, was it black money or was it white money, was it legal or illegal money. So digitalization and digital explosion has certainly created or and thrown open a war on the entire issue of black money, on the entire generation of black money or parallel economy in our country. The third one is unique identification, very very important. UIDAI is the perfect example of how digitalization has brought in unique identification to Indian people, to the floor of Indian people, to the doors of the Indian people. To take an example, a very simple example, let's say there is a migrant laborer who has come from a village in Bihar to Delhi, and one night he's going back from his work to his home in Delhi, which is obviously or supposedly a slum area, and he has come from Bihar, as I said, to Delhi, and some police personnel catch him and ask for his identity. Now, whatever identity he is going to present, being a poor migrant laborer who has not completed his education, so he does not there are less chances that he'll have a driving license or a voter ID card, all those things. In that case, it's very difficult for him to convince the police about his identity and what he has done, what he has not done in the past. So the police might suspect that he's a criminal roaming around the streets at night. In case of UIDI, it will be very easy for the police to identify the entire history, to find out the entire history of that laborer, of that person in 1 minute. And it will be very easy for the laborer also to convince the police as to what his identity is, whether he is a genuine person or whether there is some fraudulent activity attached to him. Therefore, UIDI is the example of unique identification, how digitization has made or is expected to make lives of people simpler. Social security, insurance, and government benefits. I've explained this in financial inclusion itself. This is also an example of financial, or this is also a variation of financial inclusion. Digitization has increased insurance penetration in the country. Digitization has also made government benefits more targeted and more effective, whether it's PDS, whether it's MDM, whether it's MSP, or whether it's any other kind of government benefit. UIDI and digitization on the broad level has made it easier and simpler for the government to identify. Corruption has reduced. It has been made more transparent and more effective. The bureaucrats have been, or the state machinery has been made more accountable to whatever they are doing. So the governance structure on a broad level has also improved or is also expected to improve. More economic opportunities. When you have more money in your hands, or when you have opportunities to get money either for investments as a loan, or to save, or to do anything with your money or others' money, then the economic opportunities increase, and that gives you more opportunities in the future to grow yourself, to have a decent or a better standard of living. For example, if you are earning, let's say, 10 lakh per year, and it's easier now for you to take a car loan or a house loan, then the standard of living certainly improves because of more economic. Why is it a two steps backward? Why? What are the reasons for it to be called as something which has taken India two steps backward? What are the threats of digitization? Fake news, number one. Every one of you, all of you must be aware about how fake news has become a threat to the entire fabric of Indian as well as world society. Whether it's fake news through WhatsApp, whether it's polarization of society on the name of religion through fake news, it can be anything and everything. Fake news through digital exclusion or digitization in the form of videos, in the form of photos, in the form of messages, written content, everything has broken the trust of people in the government, and the ways of how governments used to communicate with the people has also been corrupted. The next one is privacy breaches. Beyond a level, digitization has also brought this issue of privacy, because now your phone number, your identification, your uh, privacy, your personal talks or personal messages or personal messages, photographs, everything is available with the telecom companies, and they can market it and use it for cross selling or for various other purposes. They can also sell it to the government for national security purposes or for various other purposes through which government can use or misuse that information. So there is a strong privacy breach over which an individual has no control. So it is again a two step backward, because it's a very important issue. Threat to democracy. As I said, the ways in which the governments used to communicate with the people used to be very direct and very honest. Now that has been corrupted. That was visible in the US elections. There were a lot of fake news, and allegedly the name of Russian government was also involved. So there is, in the Indian election also, the same thing happened. So there is a direct threat to democracy, because the way in which people and the governments used to communicate, the government used to, or the political parties used to convince the people what they would want to do, and the people used to ask cross questioning. There used to be a lot of argumentation and discussion, but that has been stopped, because now there is a one way traffic where the government is trying to tell to the people through digital modes what it wants to do, a lot of which could be fake, and then the people have no way to ask the government back, or even if they're asking the government back, it's all through digital modes. through which you don't have any direct interaction. Cyber threats, financial insecurity, hacking of government accounts of the people, or hacking of bank accounts, ATM hacking, which happened 2 years back. So, all these things, all these kinds of cyber threats are also posed because of digitization. So, that is another threat which needs to be controlled. Over dependence on digital modes, personality degradation. When TV was launched, it was called as an idiot box, like by a lot of thinkers. The same holds for internet. YouTube is a bane. YouTube is a boon because it has allowed you to understand a lot of things which you could not have understood otherwise. So there's an information explosion, but at the same time, it is taking you away from books. It is taking you away from direct interaction. It is taking you away from people as well as society on a large scale, and that results in personality degradation. There was also a joke about it that one person asked a girl to go for a date with her, but she said that she has to watch some TV series, and so she said that she has prior commitment with Sherlock Holmes, the TV series, and therefore she could not come. So that is the level to which we have engrossed, or we have included the technology in our lives, and we are ignoring other aspects of our lives. What do we write in the conclusion in such an essay? If you are asked both the pros and cons, you can say that yes, digital explosion or digitization in India or around the world is a boon, is very important for further movement of the society. But if it is allowed to grow unregulated, then it can become a threat for the entire society. That's what I have written. The threats generated by digital explosion are too big to ignore. Unless the problems attached to digitization are resolved, it is very dangerous to let it grow unregulated. I hope you have understood whatever points I have mentioned in the essay. If you like this lecture, please subscribe to my channel now. You can also provide me feedback in the comment section below. You can also connect with me on Quora, where I have written a lot of questions. You can ask me a question, I'll be happy to answer those questions. You can also download the Infinity app, Android app that I have, that will give you access to the entire repository of all the Q&As of all the current affairs, whether it's phase 1 or phase 2, whatever is available for free out there, that will be made available to you.